Good morning and welcome back. In today's video, I'll show you how to make this card with these adorable little geese and this beautiful cake from Simon Hurley's new release. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey, thanks for coming. And so today we're going to be working with Simon Hurley's new birthday release. I'm going to be using the cake and its color layer. So this is a pretty neat stamp set because it's got color, an option to use a color layer. And then I'm going to be using these two little geese. And we're going to have ourselves a little birthday party here. And I'm going to actually make you a light up card today. So I'm going to start out with my cake here. And I'm going to use the outline layer. And this is kind of a neat little set. It's sort of a little bit more artsy, kind of drawing type situation versus a print, I guess. So I really like that about this birthday set. So a lot of people are coming out with birthday stuff, and yeah, it's time. And you can never have enough birthday stuff because birthdays happen all year long. So it's a good idea to have a good collection in your stash. So I'm going to just use some VersaFine Clair here and just stamp this cake down. And I'll stamp a couple of times to make sure it's nice and dark. I don't like to press real hard. I'd rather press multiple times than press real hard and kind of muddy my image. So I'll go ahead and clean off my stamp, and then I'm going to grab the color layer of the stamp. And today I want chocolate ganache on my rainbow cake. And so, as you know, it's June and I'm doing rainbows all month long. So if you get tired of rainbows, well, sorry. I never get tired of rainbows, but particularly I like to do them in June in solidarity. So I've got here some Weeping Willow from Simon Hurley, and I'm going to do multiple layers because I want this nice and dark, because I like my ganache nice and dark. That's just how I like it. And we're going to make a custom cake here. Okay, I think I'm happy with that darkness. I'll go ahead and wipe off my stamp. And then I'll grab my paper, and I am, by the way, using a Bristol Smooth cardstock because I want to use my Zig Clean Color markers. And I'm going to start out with a pink color, and I'm going to do the top half of the top portion of the cake, and then I'm going to do the bottom half in kind of an orange. And I'm keeping them not super strong, but, you're definitely going to know it's a rainbow. Then I'm going to come back over, and I do have my coloring sped up, of course. And I'm going to come in with a yellow. And I'm trying to closely match the colors of Simon Hurley inks. So this one would kind of go along with like Overzealous. Then I'm coming back in with the yellow just to kind of blend those two together. Then I've got a light blue here, which reminds me a bit of Clear Skies. And then I'll take this really light purple, which reminds me a bit of Sidewalk Chalk because it's kind of a pinky purple. And I'll blend those two together. And there we've kind of got our rainbow cake. Just add a little bit of darkness there and fill in a little spots that I've missed. And then I'm going to take my white pen and I'm going to actually block off that line that's between the candle and the cake. So I've cut this out, and I've cut out 2 extra layers here because I'm making a light up card and I do want this to be a little bit hefty. So I'm going to take my white pen now, and I'm just going to add some highlights to my ganache so it's nice shiny ganache. And just little lines here and there and little dots in the little drips will give them a little bit of dimension. Okay, and then we'll do this final one, which is basically just pressing in dots. A couple of little lines, and the cake is done. Yummy yum. Now I'm going to glue these 2 pieces together. And this is 110-pound cardstock that I'm gluing together here for a backer. And once I've got them glued together, I'm going to snip off the candle portion because we need the just 1 layer of paper. And I'll go ahead and glue all these together, and we'll move on to the next step of the card. Yummy cake. Just imagine. So any kid would love a cake like that on their birthday. Let's go ahead and put my glue away here for a minute. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to lay my cake down on here, and I'm going to find the top of my candle and mark it with a pencil. And it's just a temporary mark. I want to make a permanent mark to get it in the center, but it's just kind of a guideline so I can center this. And at first I think I'm going to cut it out without making a new mark. But when I start to do it, I'm like, wait a minute, I need my mark, otherwise I don't really know where I am. So I'm going to kind of lay this oval here in the center of my my little lines on my grid on my work mat. So I know that it's right directly in the center, and then I'm going to make the dot in the correct place. I'm going to try and erase that with this eraser, but it's funky. No worries, I'll erase it later. I'll use a good eraser. And I've got this little tiny hole punch, and I'm just going to punch a hole right here. And commit and snap. Okay, we've got our hole. Now I'll take the eraser and erase that other pencil mark. And I'm just leaving the plate on the cake white, by the way, in case you wondered why I didn't color it. I just want it to be white. All right, so now I'm going to take my shooting star ink, and I'm going to take a small brush, and I'm just going to make like a little halo around that hole with the shooting star. Real simple. This again is Bristol Smooth because I like blending on smooth paper. I'm all out of the Simon's Stark White, so I'm using the next best thing. And then I've got here just a piece of scrap paper because you guys know I like to tap off. And I'm just going to kind of rub off and just take what ink's on there, which I had been using Clear Skies anyway. And then at the bottom, I'm going to go darker. So I want to go dark to light on this, as if the scene's being lit up by the candle. So nice and dark on the bottom. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Just kind of do a little bit of swirly motion there on the top. And now I need to place my light. So it's going to look like this. I like to audition how it's going to look. And let's go ahead and make the background real quick first. So in this Silly Goose stamp set, there's a solid balloon. And I'm going to take my shooting star, and I'm just going to stamp little yellow balloons all over the place. And I like to start with the shooting star and then move on from there. It just seems simpler to blend them and make sure that I don't get too many or too little of any single color. Then I'm going to come in with my prom queen. And it's okay if it sits over top of the yellow, makes a new color. And this is a background piece, so I'm not terribly worried about it, and I will be trimming it down. So I'll stamp quite a few of those, and then I'll come in with the Clear Skies and fill it in. So I've got a nice, colorful balloon background. Trying to remember to rotate my stamp as I go, so all the little tie-ins aren't going in the same direction. But you're hardly going to see them. And I'm just going to add a couple more of the prom queen and call it done. Then I'm going to trim this down to 3 3/4 by 5 because that's kind of the standard that I like to do. And that's ready to go. And I've saved those because, you know, I might put them on the inside of the card. I don't during this video, but it's something that I typically like to do because they're still pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and audition again and see where I like this. And I want it up a little higher because I want to put my sentiment down at the bottom. So I'm deciding on a card base color, and ultimately I decide on sort of a hot pink. You guys know me, I like to do color card bases. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this down to the card base and commit to that. And the pink kind of matches the prom queen. You could do any color you want. You could do white, you could do craft, black, whatever makes you happy, because our sentiment, we have a die to cut that out as well. And by the way, both these stamp sets do have available coordinating die sets, so that's super handy. All right, let's make our light here. And I'm going to grab my easy light. No, I think I'm using a one light for this. Yeah, these are called one lights. I'm going to go ahead and place my battery in. Positive side should match positive side. And this I don't believe I have sped up just so that you can kind of see the process. Okay, making sure that the battery's working, that it's lighting up. And then I'm going to put it up against my little hole there, press the button, and make sure that actually I want it turned over because I want the brightest light possible. I'm just going to make sure that that's aimed right at the hole. And I'm going to grab a pencil here. Find my pencil. There she is. I'm going to just kind of hold it there. I'm just going to kind of mark around it so I know where to stick it back down, because I don't want to leave it loose. It's got to be stuck somewhere. So now I've got placement, and I'm just going to take one of these little sticky dots, which they're kind of, they're good size sticky dots, but by the time you peel them off of there, they kind of roll up. But it doesn't matter, because the point is that I want my my battery mechanism to stick to it. So that's all I need to do with that. Lay it on there and check placement again. That way it doesn't move around on me. There we go. Okay, I'm good with the placement. Now I just need to use my foam tape. And here's something that to be aware of. When you're doing these, you can see that the top portion has very little space to put the foam tape. So I am going to have to trim my foam tape to fit, which is easy to do. And I use the world's best foam tape. This is also from Pear Blossom Press, because it's repositionable, and that to me is everything. So I'm going to use my Spellbinder scissors to kind of trim this down, because they're pretty much non-stick. And I'm just going to trim it kind of in half and just kind of fit it in there. And if there's any sticking out, I can always trim it off. And here's the beauty of repositionable. Whoops, I didn't get it quite where I wanted it. Let's go ahead and press it down where it should go. Bend it over a little bit, and there we go. It's down. There's a little bit of paper sticking out, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and surround the battery and the little mechanism. And I'm not worried about that part sticking out. I'll trim it off later. Just stick down enough foam tape to support this little panel. See where it's sticking out here? I'll just trim off. No big deal. Just testing again for placement. And I've got some schmutz on my light, and I'm going to show you later how to get rid of that, because I didn't clean up after I did my little balloons. Working on a black surface, sometimes you just don't see your mess. You forget about it. You walk off. You take a sip of your coffee, whatever it is you're doing. And I'm just going to go ahead and build the rest of this up until everything's covered and I don't have any floppy parts. Now you could go all the way around like a shaker, but it's not really necessary. You just need enough to support the, support the whole panel. And because this is Bristol Smooth, it's not super thick. I want to say it's probably 100 pounds. Okay, let's trim off any excess that I'm seeing. And then right there where that schmutz is, I'm just going to take a paper towel. And that's pink ink, I think, by the way. But I don't want that on my card. I'm going to take a paper towel. I'm trying to grab one here. They're stuck to the roll. And I'm going to spray it with just a little bit of water, tap it off, and then I'm just going to lift right there where I got the mess. And see how easy that lifts? And then I can just re-ink it. Get any other little goobers off. And I'll just come back with the shooting star ink and re-ink it there where I made a mess. Now that's not always the case, depends on the ink, but with the Simon Hurley ink, piece of cake. There we go, all fixed. You'd never know I made a mess. All right, so now I've got to check my placement on my cake again, find the button. Once I've found the button, I'll take a little my little white gel pen, and I'll just make a little mark right there. And that's where I'll put my push sign. And I'm going to go ahead and go glue this cake down now, and we'll move on with the rest of the card. And so you can see why I left the top portion without any extra layers, because I wanted that light to make sure that light was shining through. Make sure I've got it down here straight. Commit. There we go. Perfect. All right, now we can go ahead and peel the backer off and get this glued down to our card base with the matte layer, or the background layer. Just peel off the backers here. Best we can. Sometimes I don't see them all, so I have to touch it. And I'm going to put this kind of up high because, again, I want that sentiment down below. But we still need our geese, and I have done these off camera, and I have popped them up, and I just did simple coloring with some gray and just some color for their hats and beaks or bills or whatever those things are, and their little feet, claws, hooves, I don't know. They're little goose things, their little geese feet. And I'm going to have them both just marveling at the candle. And I like this set because it does have opposing characters, so, you can, make a story here. And you guys know how I love making stories on my cards. All right, so there's my little geese down, and they are popped up on some foam tape as well. And then all I need is my sentiment, and I've done that off camera too, and I've just done it black on white paper, and then I did a light green shadow layer on it. So the dies do come with all the dies to cut out all the sentiments as well. And this is the sentiment from the birthday cake set, because I absolutely love this handwriting. So all I need is my little push button so somebody knows that the card lights up. And I'm just going to kind of tape that down or glue that down. And there we go. We have our light up card. There we go. Well, I hope you like it, and I hope you like this video. If you do, please consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, think about subscribing. Take care. Bye-bye.